What's up YouTube? Welcome back to Coding with Robbie. My name's Robbie and today I got a quick little impromptu video where I wanted to go through this new Signals package that the Preact team came out with. So if you're not familiar with Preact, they basically just built React again, but they got it down to 3 KB and it's a drop-in replacement in most places. But yeah, they released this package called Signals and it's a new way to manage state within your Preact or React app. So it looks really cool, it looks real simple to use, and it's supposed to have some great performance benefits. So they kind of describe the struggle of the current use state hooks, and basically what ends up happening is you define some state and it just gets trickled down all the way, which is bad for performance. And then they kind of show what happens when you use the context API. It might jump the first time, but then after that it gets trickled down, which is also bad. And yeah, with their library, it's supposed to jump around exactly where it's needed and not have that trickle down effect anywhere. So they show a screenshot kind of the performance difference it could make, and it looks significant. So you can just see here 2500 milliseconds compared to 600, and I would say that's a pretty big difference. So yeah, in this video I'm just going to install it, play around with it, and we'll kind of go through the basics. Alright, so to get going I'm going to generate a Preact project using the CLI. So I'm on their getting started guide, and if you scroll down they have a command right here that will generate an app for you. So I'm going to copy that and I'll go to my terminal. I'm just going to go to my dev folder and I'll paste in the command and I'll call my app sigtest. So this is going to generate a whole Preact project for us, and it's just going to take a minute to complete. Alright, so it just finished. I'm going to cd into the project folder, and then I'm going to look up the command to install Signals. So I'm on their docs right here. I'll just go to installation, and here it is right here. So let's copy that and let's run the command. And then let's open it up in VS Code, and then we can start our project with npm run, npm run dev. So let's run that, and it's going to start it up on localhost 8080. So it just takes a second to build, and it should be running now. So let's check that out. I got it pulled up right here, and here's what they start you out with. Alright, so now let's create a component and play around with the package. So let's go back to VS Code, and I'm just going to create a new component within the source folder /components, and I'll just call mine test.js. And to do a component in Preact you have to import this H right here. So let's copy that, and then let's create a component and let's render it in our home page. So let's go to routes, home, index, and I'll just throw it at the bottom right here. So there we go, it should be rendering test on the screen, which it is. And yeah, now let's try it out. So let's go back to their docs, and here's a basic example they give us right here. So let's go and try that out. Let's go to test, and let's create some new state called to-dos, and you just do signal, and then you put the default value inside here. So by default the only to-do will be take out trash and clean bedroom. So there we go, we just created our first global state with the signal package. So now let's render this within our component. Let's go down here and let's just go to-dos, and then you don't just do .map, you have to go .value.map, and this is going to receive a single to-do, and then we'll just return an li with that to-do inside it. And then let's throw this in a ul. And we should be seeing our to-dos on the screen. So let's go back, and we do, we see them right here. So now let's do a quick little form that would let us add a new to-do. So let's go back to our component. I'll just throw a form down here, and let's have it have an input and a submit button. And then let's create some state for the value of this input. So I'll go up here, I'll just go const new to-do is equal to signal, and by default it will just be an empty string, and let's assign that to the value on this input. So we just go new to-do dot value, and then let's add an onChange event so it updates this state whenever we type in the input. So we can go onChange, and onChange we want to take the default HTML event and then go new to-do, whoops, new to-do.value is equal to e.target.value, which is whatever they typed in. And that should update our state right up here. So let's try that out. I'll go back and I'll start typing, and it looks like it's working. So now let's take that value and create a new to-do. So let's add a new function here, and we'll go const add to-do. And this function is going to receive the default HTML submit event, which we want to prevent default on. And then we got to update our to-dos list right here. So let's go to-dos.value is equal to, and then we want to take the current to-dos, so to-dos.value, whoops, to-dos.value, and then we want to add on the new one, which is coming from new to-do. So new to-do.value, and then once we add it, we want to clear the form. So let's go new to-do.value, and we'll make it equal to an empty string again. So now let's connect this to our form. Let's go down here. I'll just go on submit, and I'll have it run our function up here, add to do. And I think that should work. Let's try it out. Let's go back to the browser, and now I can create a new task. So let's go do the dishes. Let's see if it works. I hit add, and it adds it. So that's cool. Let's do a quick function to clear a to-do. So I'll go back here, and let's just add a new function up here, and I'll go const clear to-do. And this is going to be a function which receives an index position. And it's just going to go to-dos.value is equal to to-dos.value.filter. And this is going to receive the single to-do and an index. And we just want to-dos where its index is not equal to the index that we passed in right here. So that should do the trick. Let's connect this to a button. So let's go in our LI. I'll just add a button right here with an X inside it. And when someone clicks that button, it's going to run a function which runs clear to do. And then we have to pass this an index position, which we can get from the loop. So let's add I right here, and then we'll pass it to our function. And I think that should work. Let's go back and try it. So I'll add a new task, do the dishes, and hit add to do. It adds it, and then I hit X and it clears it. So there we go. We got a functioning to-do list now. And yeah, what's cool is that all this state is global now. So we could easily go export const to-dos, and then we could use that within another component. So let's just say I copied this UL right here, and let's go to the profile page. And I'll just go to the bottom right here, paste it in, and let's just import to-dos. There we go. And now check this out. I'm back here, I go do the dishes, hit add, and then I go to the profile page, and it's also rendered right there. So that's one way to do global state, but I feel like that's not the intended way. So if you go back to the docs, they show another example down here. If you go to managing global state, and they actually use the context API to pass the global state around. So let's try it this way. So we have to create a function with our state. So let's copy this. And while we're here, let's just delete the to-dos from the profile page. And then let's create a new file within source. I'll just call it state.js. I'm going to paste in that function they gave us. And we're going to put our state in here. So let's go to test, and let's copy all of this and paste it within the function. And then we just got to return everything at the bottom. So we got to-dos, new to-do, clear to-do, and then add to-do. There we go. And now we got our little state function right here. So now let's see what else we got to do. Let's go back to the docs. And you have to create app state. So let's just do this in the same file. Let's go to the bottom, and we'll just go export default, create app state, which is our function right here. And then we have to go to our main app file and wrap our app in a provider. So let's do that. Let's go to our main app file. which is right here. Let's see what we got to do. Let's just import all the stuff we need. So let's see, we need create context. We're going to use context in a different component. And then we need that state object that we created. So let's just go import state from, and ours is in ... state. Okay, we got our imports, and then we got to create a context. So let's do that right here. Or actually, let's go below our imports, put it right here, and I'll make sure to export that. So we created our context, and then we wrap our app in this provider. So let's do that. Let's go right here. And our value is going to be our state, which we imported right there. There we go, that looks good. So now we should be able to use this global state within our test component. So let's go back here and see how to do that. So we get it from use context. So let's copy this line right here. And let's make sure to import use context. And we have to import app state. There we go, they're both imported. And now let's just destructure this to get all the stuff we're using. So we had to-dos, new to-do, add to-do, and then clear to-do. And our app should still work, so let's go back and try this out. So I'll go back, and I broke something. Let's see what I did wrong. Signal is not defined, so if we go to our state file, I didn't import signal. So let's do that now. There we go, it's now imported. Let's try it again. And we're back in business. Let's go to home, and I can clear a to-do, I can add to-dos. And there we go, that's the way they show to do global state. So now let's take a look at local state, and it's pretty easy. You basically just do the same thing, but you put everything within your component and you use signal instead of just signal. So let's try this out. Let's go back to our code, and let's see, let's just create a new component. So let me minimize all that, and I'll create a new component called test2.js. And we got to import H from Preact. What is it? Just Preact? I think it's like that. And then let's render this on our home page. So let's go back here, and I'll just put it below our to-do list. I'll do test2. And let's see if that's rendering. So let's go back to our page, and it's right here. So now let's do some local state. So let's just do a quick little counter. Let's go in here, inside of test2. And let's go const count is equal to, and this time we'll do use signal, and the default will be 0. And then let's do a function to increment it. So const increment is equal to a function, and this function is gonna say count.value is equal to count.value plus 1. And now let's use this down here. So let's just do an h2 with the count inside. And you have to do count.value, remember? And then let's do a button, and on click, we want that button to run our increment function. And inside here, we'll just put increment. And we should have a functioning counter that uses local state now. So let's try that out. We got 0, and I can increment it all the way up. So that's pretty cool. And then there's some other features we can check out. So let's go back to their docs. So you can do computed values. So let's try that out. We'll just copy this line right here, and let's do double. And then since we're doing local state, it's going to be used computed, and this will get us the doubled value. So we could go double right here. Let's see if that works. Go back to our app, and there we go, the computed value works. And if we're doing that with global state, we could just do computed. And what else is there? There's an effect. Let's see how you do effect. Effect. So you can do stuff like this. It would just log something whenever it changes. So let's try that. Let's go effect, and we want our effect whenever our count changes to log it. So let's see if that works. Let's go back, and I broke something because I probably didn't import it. So let's type it out again. And make sure to import it, and let's go back. There we go. Let's go to console, and now it logs it whenever it updates. So we actually have to do count.value here. try it again, go back. There we go. That's pretty cool. What else can we do? I think that's all the basics. And then, oh, what is this? Batch. So I haven't even seen this yet. It looks like you can do multiple updates at once. So let's actually try this in our global state. Let's go right here, and we'll do it where we're clearing the state and adding. So let's try this out. So you import batch and you just wrap it in a function, it seems like. So let's try it out. Let's go batch. Let's make sure to import that. And we're gonna do a function. And then I think we just put what we want to do inside there. Yeah, that looks right. Let's try it out. Let's go back. See if it still works. So add a to-do. Yeah, it's still working. So I guess that's probably better for performance. That's pretty neat. And let's see. Yeah, I would say that's all the basics. There's some advanced stuff you could do, but I'll let you explore that. So yeah, that's my quick little video on Preact Signals. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know you're there. If you have a video request, put it in the comments, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.